Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're pulling back the curtain and going right to the front lines of food safety. We're going to explore this incredible, invisible battle that's being fought every single day on poultry farms against a tiny but powerful enemy, Salmonella.
All right, here's how we're going to break it down. First, you have to know your enemy, so we'll look at what we're up against. Then, we'll see how these farms build their defenses, their fortresses. After that, we'll look at how they keep watch, the sentinels on the wall. We'll ask the big question, does all this effort even work? And finally, we'll look at what's next in this ongoing fight.
So why all the fuss? Why go to such extraordinary lengths to keep a farm clean? Well, to really get it, we need to zoom out and see just how big of a threat this is on a global scale.
Get this. According to the World Health Organization, in some parts of the world, diarrheal diseases, and that includes Salmonella, are responsible for a mind-blowing 70% of all illnesses you can get from food. I mean, that is just a massive weight on our public health systems.
And Salmonella is a huge part of that problem. It's one of the top 4 causes worldwide. Now, for most of us, it might just be a really bad week, but for some, it can be deadly. And this is the part that should really get your attention. These bugs are getting smarter. We're seeing more and more antimicrobial resistance, which means the medicines we use to fight serious infections are starting to fail.
Okay, so with a threat that serious, the #1 goal for any poultry farm, especially for the big broiler farms that raise chickens for meat, is prevention. You have to stop Salmonella from ever getting in. And the best way to think about that is to picture the farm as a fortress.
Right, and there's a name for this whole strategy, biosecurity. But it isn't just one single thing, it's a complete mindset. It's about nonstop cleaning and disinfection. It's about smart management, and maybe most importantly, it's about building a defensive perimeter to control literally anything and anyone that comes onto the property.
And you might be surprised to hear who one of the biggest enemies is: rodents. Their ability to multiply is just staggering. Just think about that number for a second. 20 million from just 2 rats in 3 years. And you got to think of every single one of those as a potential Trojan horse just waiting to sneak Salmonella past the gates.
And this is what I mean when I say it's a tangible threat. It's not just theoretical. Look at the left. Those are mouse droppings. They can contaminate feed, water, everything. And on the right, those aren't just holes in the ground. They are superhighways for disease that can lead right into the chicken houses. So the defense has to be a 3-pronged attack. You start outside, securing that perimeter from pests like rats and mice. Then you move inside with relentless cleaning and disinfection between every single flock of chickens. But maybe the most crucial part is the people, making sure every single person on that farm knows their role in keeping that fortress secure.
Okay, so you've built the walls of your fortress. But what about the guards on the towers? Because even the most secure facility needs sentinels. And in modern farming, those sentinels are a really robust, non-stop system of monitoring and sampling.
This whole surveillance system really has 2 key layers. You've got the operator, the farmer, who's doing their own constant checks. It's like checking your own homework. But then you have official sampling, done by a government authority, which is like the teacher coming in to grade it and make sure you didn't miss anything.
And this table just perfectly shows how systematic this all is. Now, I know this is an example from a laying hen farm, but stick with me because the principle is exactly the same for broiler chickens, just adapted for their shorter lives. The monitoring starts from day 1, literally sampling the liners of the boxes the chicks arrive in, and it continues right through their lives with things like boot swabs and environmental tests.
And this is so important. This whole process starts before the birds even get to the farm. It goes all the way back to the hatchery where they're born. Teams take hundreds of swabs from every imaginable surface, drains, vents, even the delivery trucks, to hunt down any hidden contamination and stop it at the source.
So we're talking about a massive amount of work here. Building the fortress, keeping this constant watchful eye, it all costs a lot of time and a lot of money. Which, of course, brings us to the biggest question of all. When it comes to our health, does any of it actually make a difference?
So let's see what the numbers say.
The answer is a huge, definite yes. Look at that chart. Since these big, comprehensive control programs were rolled out across Europe, the number of people getting sick from Salmonella has absolutely plummeted. We're talking about a drop of more than half. That's not just a statistic, that's tens of thousands of people every year not getting sick. That is a massive public health win.
But, and there's always a but, even with this incredible progress, you can never let your guard down. The battle against a microscopic enemy is never, ever truly over, because the threat isn't just sitting still, it's always changing.
And this quote really spells out the new front line. These control programs were fantastic at targeting the main types or serovars of Salmonella, but it's kind of like a game of whack-a-mole. You successfully smack one down, and another one just pops right up to take its place.
In the world of broiler chickens, that new challenger is a strain called Salmonella infantis. It's now responsible for about half of all the salmonella found in European broiler flocks. And it's a real problem because it's what you might call a triple threat. It's incredibly tough to get rid of once it's in the farm environment, and, this is the kicker, we don't have a vaccine for it.
So, what's the big takeaway here? It's that ensuring our food is safe isn't a one-and-done deal. It's not about building one fortress and then calling it a day. It's about maintaining a dynamic fortress, one that is constantly being monitored, constantly being reinforced, and constantly adapting to fight a silent, invisible, and always evolving enemy.